Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. Welcome back, everybody. Today, my special guest is composer and music educator Mona Rejino. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs Festivals list is Evening. You can find it in her book, Reflections and Relaxations. Welcome, Mona. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
This is a gorgeous piece. It opens with this wonderful chorale. It has a lovely flowing melody. It sounds peaceful. It sounds restful. It's centered. I love everything about this piece, and I can tell it's going to be a big hit with my students. Talk to us about writing Evening.
Well, it started out, as you said, like almost hymn-like. Just a 4-part harmony with a very expressive melody. Where voicing is very important and quite key in shaping the phrases. I just wanted it to sort of feel like the end of the day. Like you've had a busy day, everything's going on, and then you finally, at the end of the day, you get to sit down and kind of reflect on that day. So the A section is really very calm and hopefully beautiful. And then the B section is where the left hand gets the melody, and the right hand just very quietly ripples along. And then, it switches back to the right hand after that.
And I noticed that left hand melody. So what tips do you have to help us to coach our students in keeping the right hand nice and soft, even though it has all of these moving notes, it has all these parts, but the left hand is the important part. What are some strategies that we can give our students to work on that?
Well, I always use this strategy. I call it 3 steps to perfect balance. So here you go. Step number 1, if we start in measure 18, for example, is I would have them play the right hand up here on the fall board while they actually play the left hand. So that trains the ear to know what to listen for. Step number 2 is you bring that right hand down to the keyboard, but you just touch the top of the keys. You try not to play, right? So but you're getting closer to mimicking what you're really going to do. And hopefully after that, when you go to step 3 and play it as written, you have trained that right hand to have a very light touch. And you've trained your ear to listen to the left-hand melody.
I love how you have these steps, this step-by-step approach to getting students to balance that out. That is awesome.
And students just have to be patient with it. But when they hear the difference, especially if you record them when they're playing with terrible balance, and then they go through this 3-step process and you record them again after they have worked out that balance, they go, oh, yeah, it's worth the trouble.
Indeed. That is so cool. What were some of the challenges that you faced when you were composing Evening?
It was just, I think the middle section was maybe the hardest part, just to get it the way that I wanted to make it sound. And also writing down all the expression marks. I always think of Debussy, who gave us every little nuance. And I tried to put as much as possible in here. Obviously everybody's going to interpret it in their own way, but I had to really think about how I could write it and use Italian terms and expression marks to get the musical point across to a student.
What other challenges do you feel students face when they play Evening?
Well, I think balance is the biggest thing, and that's true in the A section. You've got the 4-part harmony, so you've got to bring out the soprano line. So balance there within a 4-part harmony, is its own challenge. And then, as we spoke about before, balancing that middle section where the right hand is just effortless and quiet, just a very soft ripple in the background. Sometimes I describe it to students in this way, like the right hand is the frame, the left hand is the picture. So that they just have a visual image of what they're trying to do with the balance.
That is a great visual image. And I think something else that's really helpful is when students have a model of how the piece is supposed to sound, or at least one idea of that. And to that end, you've made recordings of these pieces, and we'll make a point of linking your video in the description to this video so that students can hear and see you perform this work. I think that's a really, really helpful and useful thing. Thank you so much for being here today. My guest has been composer and music educator Mona Rejino. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs list is Evening. You can find it in her book, Reflections and Relaxations, available from quality music retailers near you. Thank you so much for your time today, Mona.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Thank you for the opportunity.